Welcome back. You're watching Left, Right and Centre. The latest on the Indigo saga. The airline on the one hand is more or less restoring services wherever they were unable to operate flights in the last couple of days. But the entire issue of accountability is something that the government is looking at. Indigo must now reduce 10% of their flights across sectors is what the regulator has ruled. That translates into a very high number of flights potentially. This includes flights in high demand, high frequency sectors which must be reduced. At least 220 daily flights might end up being cut. Now, Indigo may not necessarily have been operating many of these flights in the first place, but the sense is that they intended to. At least 220 of those will be flights that they will not be able to operate. Why? Because they have not demonstrated an ability to operate schedules efficiently, is what the Civil Aviation Ministry has had to say.
As I rise to speak today, I would like to inform this august House that the disruption caused by Indigo's recent operational failures is now rapidly stabilizing. Indigo's daily flights, which had fallen drastically to 706 on 5th of December, have recovered to over 1800 flights yesterday and are expected to rise further today. All other airlines continue to operate smoothly across the country, and the airports are reporting normal conditions without crowding or distress. Refunds, baggage tracing, and passenger support measures remain under continuous supervision by the ministry. At the same time, accountability will be ensured. DGCA has issued show cause notices to Indigo's senior leadership and commenced a detailed enforcement investigation. Depending on the outcome, strict and appropriate action as empowered under the Aircraft Rules and Act will be taken. No airline, however large, will be permitted to cause such hardship to passengers through planning failures, non-compliance or non-adherence to statutory provisions. Honorable Speaker, sir, safety in civil aviation is completely non-negotiable.
Well, joining us now, Captain Anil Rao, General Secretary of the Airline Pilots Association, Dr. Sanat Kaul, former Joint Secretary, Ministry of Civil Aviation. We're also joined by Captain Amit Singh and Captain C.S. Randhawa, President of the Federation of Indian Pilots. Thank you all very much for being with us. Mr. Kaul, I'm just a little confused because during their between their summer schedule and the winter schedule now, Indigo was allowed to enhance the number of flights they operate by about 6.5%. 5% has now been withdrawn by the government for the moment, but it's not as if they're necessarily losing a great deal because they've still got about a 1.5% advantage in terms of the overall flights that they're now operating. So if one is talking about action being taken against the airline, is this significant?
Well, I don't think it's significant, but the winter travel schedule, normally there's more demand in winter, but I may be wrong about that, and therefore there may be a greater demand. But otherwise, if they are keeping their schedule and maybe giving others who can fly more, other airlines, it'll equalize. So I don't think there should be a major trouble on this issue. But it's up to we have to study the statistics to see what is the likely demand and what is the likely schedule which will be readjusted.
Captain Amit Singh, the other way of looking at this is that no matter how bad Indigo has been in the last couple of days, last couple of weeks, you cannot cripple the airline, which isn't to say that there shouldn't be action against those who are responsible for the mess. But there are people paying for the blood of the airline. My point in raising this is that we still need travel in this country and India still needs Indigo. Is that a fair way of looking at this?
Well, there's another point of view. If you look at the regulations, we have slots and we have routes. So the slots, there's a policy for slots. Use it, otherwise lose it. So if Indigo is not able to use the slots and they are prime slots in Delhi, Bombay, so they're going waste. So let other airlines who have the capacity build them up and use them till Indigo scales up to the capacity, which means if they're saying Feb, March, the winter schedule will come to an end. Then we have the summer schedule. So at least till March, let other airlines who have the spare capacity use the slots, the slots at like Delhi, Bombay, and other places. The routes are different. Routes are with the slots, prime slots, and without the prime slots.
Right.
So, yeah.
No, that's an important point. Captain Randhawa, a very basic question. Do you believe that the routes which Indigo doesn't operate should be offered to other airlines because there is demand from passengers across the country? And do you believe that the other airlines, namely Air India Express, Air India, Akasa and SpiceJet, between them have the capacity to mount additional flights? Because it's not as if any of our airlines have aircraft and spare crews waiting around.
I think Air India can take on flights because crew is not a problem for them. They have to increase the aircraft utilization. As it is, 6% increase in the schedule was granted to Indigo Airlines in this winter schedule. Without going through the merits of the schedule, depending on the number of crew they had availability, the aircraft, the slots, everything. So that was not checked, and I believe that they should have actually cancelled that extra 6%. They have done 5%, and these 5% should be allocated to the other airlines to absorb. Now, in case of Udan routes also, if you recollect, that unutilized routes are normally taken away and given to the other operators who can absorb these routes. So similarly, in this case also, the withdrawal of routes, this is a good step the government has taken to withdraw from Indigo Airlines. And if you see, even as of today, there are flight cancellations of Indigo, and they are not reached 100%.
No, they haven't. Yeah.
Okay, and the CEO is still saying it's going to take a couple of days. So I don't know that whether they'll be able to even run the present schedule also, though they have the air crew. If you see the air crew, if you take about 320 aircraft of their 320 aircraft which are flying, they have adequate amount of crew. There is no shortage. No, not even 65 captains shortage. So because they have over about 5,500 air crew with them. And out of 413 aircraft, 47 aircraft are ATRs. And all 367 Airbus are not flying. They were down with the Pratt & Whitney engines, CAT C-check, CAT D-check, and various other things. So I think they have the appropriate amount of crew and they can run the 100% otherwise schedule which they were running in the summer schedule.
Okay. Captain Anil Rao, what happens from the 10th of February onwards? Will Indigo be in a position to abide by the new FDTL flight duty time limitation guidelines? That's what this is all about, passenger safety.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Vishnu. We all have been talking here about the business module and the revival of the lost flights and inconvenience to the passengers. But very conveniently, we have forgotten to address the issue, which was the main issue why this whole disruption happened, is the implementation of the flight duty time limitation. Our concern has always been that the flight duty limitation has to be implemented in totality and with no exemptions. Okay, we are very happy and it's a sigh of relief that the Indigo flights are coming back to normalcy and the inconvenience to the passengers are reduced. But nowhere we are talking about if that kind, whatever the government is doing is very good, has it contributed anything towards the pilot fatigue or the implementation of the flight duty time limitations? If that is so, that why are we not addressing that part of the issue, which is the major issue today?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, if you see what the major crux of this whole dispensation was given, because the extra flights were taken for the night operations. If you see the one-time exemption given by the DGCA, clearly says that this was primarily for the night operations of the thing, and that is why the exemption was given on the night status of the night landings and the night definitions and the night hours. If you see, those were the major dispensations which were given. Now that is where the whole problem lies, is where the loopholes have been used to exploit what is given in the FDTL, and that is where exemption has been sorted. So we have been saying that if you're giving an exemption to one airline, what is the guarantee? Or probably it is setting a precedent that the other operators tomorrow might come and say, okay, I've got summer schedules.
No, so
I've
this
got
is an
Hajj
important
flights
point.
coming up.
Captain, and I didn't know this. I thought that all airlines now, as far as FDTL is concerned, till February, they've got an exemption. The exemption is exclusive to Indigo.
It is a one-time exemption
Only Indigo.
given to Indigo on the car, FDTL car, with certain clauses given that these clauses will be given exemption only to Indigo.
Captain Randhawa, go ahead.
Okay, Vishnu, I'll just elaborate on that. One thing is very clear that they have given the night exemptions to all airlines. What Anil is saying is not correct. Total exemption has been given to Indigo Airlines, but to all airlines, DGCA, by virtue of a letter, has issued an exemption by the DG on the night landing. They have gone back to 6 landings, and the night has been defined as 4 times 0 till 0600 hours from 0500 hours.
Right.
That is valid for all the airlines. Plus the dispensations which were given post 1st of November, those also continue for all the airlines. And the next part is not to combine the weekly rest with the leave. That is addition. That is also for all the airlines. Now I want to know that Indigo 3-4 years back, they were hardly. I still remember the last flight used to land at 12:30 and the first flight used to take off around 5:30 in the morning. Today you see their 1/3 of the schedule is at night. So the pilots over there, they are really fatigued. They're really fatigued. And now on what basis, on what scientific basis did the government give them a blanket clearance up to 10th? And now is the winter season and 1/3 of their flights are going to be at night. Now, who's going to be responsible? God forbidding there is an incident or an accident, who will be responsible for it? And the best part is there is a procedure to give a dispensation. Only Director General is authorized to give the dispensation, not even the PM of India. There is a procedure. But we saw that the minister has given the dispensation. We don't know whether there is an official letter which has been issued by.
No, so in
Director
other words,
General.
what you're saying, Captain, is that the regulator, who's supposed to be entirely independent, right, is not in fact that.
What we see from this dispensation, I haven't seen an official letter which has been granted to Indigo Airlines for the dispensation.
Yeah.
It is a press release given by the minister.
Okay.
There is nowhere in the media, nowhere has this been given. And there is a process of giving a dispensation. Only there is a CR, Section 1, Series B, Part 3. And it says only under extreme circumstances the DG can grant extension.
Yeah.
But in case of safety, you cannot be granting.
Okay.
Safety cannot be compromised for convenience.
Okay, I get your point. And, safety first. Captain Rao, quickly, sir, before I go back to Captain Amit Singh. Yeah.
I'll just, I'll tell you that there are, Captain Randhawa is just getting a little confused here about the card dispensation. Yes, there is a card dispensation. It's called a one-time card dispensation given to Indigo by the Director General of Civil Aviation. There is a letter, if you want, I can share that with you. Now, coming to the point of dispensation, that every airline, the dispensation of the night or the clauses given to Indigo is applied to other airlines, it is little different. each airline has sorted its own dispensation before this phase 2 was before the phase 2 was implemented. So each airline, each operator had sorted its own dispensation depending upon the definition of night and the definition of landings. Those definitions and those exemptions exclusively for Indigo were much higher than what the other operators are sorted for. So that exemptions, especially on the night facility, on the night operations, was given to Indigo because the definitions changed as per the car FDTL car now 2024 revision 2
Sure.
clearly says that only 2 landings can be done between 00 hours to 0600 hours. That is the definition of night. Whereas exemption for Indigo has been given in 3 different manners: 000 to 0200, 0200 to 0300, and 4 to 0500.
All right. So the bottom line, what you are saying is that Indigo has got more leeway at the moment to operate.
Yes.
Many of these guidelines have been held in abeyance than the other airlines who are also negotiating for rights separately. Okay, hold on. I'm running short on time. I know we need to spend more time on this, but Captain Amit Singh, come in over here. Last word to you. In terms of accountability, the key question is, there are knee-jerk reactions. Let's throw out the Director General of the DGCA. There are others who say throw out Christian Elbers. There are others who say throw out the minister. What is the smart way of doing this, whereby the system still operates while the mistakes are fixed?
Well, there are 2 parts of it. One is the regulatory and second is the corporate part. So the regulatory has to be a higher third-party investigation wherein DGCA itself will be investigated for their actions of giving dispensations and the fallouts of the FBTL at Indigo. Second is the corporate, wherein we look at the abuse of dominant position by Indigo. That comes under the Competition Commission of India. So these 2 aspects basically look at it, and there has to be a bill for passenger rights. So right now, there is only a procedure in the car for refunds, which tells you your ticket will be refunded. But for compensation, there has to be a bigger bill and discussion.
Sure. All right, gentlemen, we'll leave it over there. I'm out of time. Look, for one way or the other, the operations of the airline are more or less coming back to a state of relative normalcy. But the larger issue of flight safety hasn't been addressed at all, which is why this remains a constant topic and one that I'll certainly pursue. Thank you all very much for being with us.